Over the weekend, marches, rallies, and candlelight vigils went on display throughout the country. Believers of a meditation practice called attention to years of ongoing persecution and commemorated those who lost their lives in the process. NTD's Jason Blair and Jackie Rios have the story on the practice called Falun Dafa.
Falun Dafa is a peaceful meditation practice that originated in China. Unfortunately, since 1999, China started persecuting the practice. San Francisco area practitioners are holding a rally with a parade to let people know about Falun Dafa and how the persecution is still going on to this day. Over 300 people paraded from San Francisco's Ferry Building to Chinatown's Portsmouth Square to commemorate 23 years of the persecution against Falun Dafa, also known as Falun Gong. In China, the Chinese Communist Party, or CCP, has arrested, abused, and killed practitioners at will since 1999. Sandy Wong, a Falun Gong practitioner since 1994, was one such victim.
At the police station, they would force me to sign. They would force my hand open, but I made a fist because I won't sign. They bent this finger, my thumb, until it dislocated and couldn't sign anymore.
Wong explained that she went out in public to clear Falun Gong's name as the CCP has slandered it for years. She was arrested and sent to jail and was in and out of jail several times since that incident.
During that time, I was forced to do labor work. I had to wake up at 2 or 3 in the morning and work until 11 or 12 at night. It's common to work overtime. If we don't work overtime, we can sleep before 11 p.m.
Wong says despite the CCP's efforts to break her faith, she held on to Falun Dafa because of how it changed her life. She was a single mom who had lost meaning in life. That all changed when she took up the practice.
To be a good person, I think of others first in my daily life. The daily routine at home is still the same, but I no longer feel tired or miserable. It's that kind of feeling.
But in 1999, the CCP began its persecution of Falun Gong. Those who do not choose to renounce their faith are beaten, brainwashed, jailed, with some even having their organs removed by force.
We've never seen anything like this before in the history of the world. This is something so horrific as taking organs for profit as part of a medical genocide.
Many pedestrians stopped to watch the parade and were dissatisfied with the lack of attention given to the human rights violations.
Our media, mainstream media and social media does not want to offend the CCP. That's the bottom line, and it's all money.
You'll see people passing out the flyers and people really not paying attention. So at least, you can't help but pay attention with the marching band and everything. But yeah, a lot of people don't know about this, and I think it's ridiculous that this is happening still.
It is very shocking, and I think this kind of movements had to be made more often so that we make this conscious. And
I didn't know people here in the country from China are fighting the communists. We are in South America. We are having the same problem. People still believe that the socialist communist is the good way to go because they have free education, they have free many things, which doesn't exist. There is no free anything. People pay for that.
Similarly, Falun Gong practitioners in Southern California held their own event to raise awareness.
We're attending a rally today at the Santa Monica Pier where Falun Gong practitioners are trying to bring awareness to the ongoing persecution they have been suffering by the communist-led government in China. Rally participants say organizations and countries around the world have not only researched but also verified the ongoing persecution.
This has been documented and confirmed by China Tribunal in 2019. And they do a lot of research investigation, and they found estimated hundreds of thousands of people they are victims of live organ harvesting.
The United States, along with several other countries around the world, are both considering and passing laws to address the CCP's human rights violations.
Organ harvesting is still ongoing in China. It's been going on for over 20 years. Then we have a new bill in Congress. In the Falun Gong Protection Act, H.R. 6319.
The bill seeks to impose sanctions against the CCP for its forced organ harvesting. Another bill titled Stop Forced Organ Harvesting Act of 2021 also seeks to condemn live forced organ harvesting. If lawmakers pass it, the United Nations will openly condemn live forced organ harvesting worldwide. Any doctors involved in the practice will be banned from traveling to the United States. Doctors Against Forced Organ Harvesting say they will be in the nation's capital this week to continue raising awareness on the two bills.
San Francisco International Airport received a bomb threat over the weekend. Operations were temporarily shut down, but things are back to normal now. Operations were temporarily delayed at the San Francisco International Airport after police received a bomb threat and found a suspicious package late Friday evening. No injuries were reported. The airport resumed operations, including its air train service, after police cleared the premises. The Bay Area Rapid Transit train service also resumed. The Associated Press reported that police had taken a man into custody following an investigation. California had a net loss of 200,000 people last year. It's not just the people, but the businesses and jobs are leaving as well. An economics professor explained the reason for the exodus.
California has been shrinking in the last 2 years for the first time since its founding. Jim Doughty, President Emeritus and Professor of Economics at Chapman University, told California Insider's Siamak Khorrami he predicts a slower increase in housing prices are not the main reason for people leaving.
Our ratio is dropping, the population to housing, not because the denominator, not because housing is increasing, but because the numerator, the population is dropping or not growing as rapidly. So we're getting the ratio down, not for the reason the governor and the state wanted, that is to produce more housing, but because more people are leaving the state because of high taxes and high regulation.
Doughty explains companies are leaving because it's more costly to do business in California.
And in an increasingly competitive global environment, companies have to be competitive. And to be competitive and to keep costs as low as possible, they're moving to other states like Texas, to zero corporate tax states, low income tax states for their workers, more affordable housing for their workers. So as they leave the state, jobs are migrating outside of California and people are chasing those jobs and leaving the state.
Doughty says there is a correlation between states with high taxes and net negative migration, and states with lower taxes are experiencing positive migration.
California, over those 5 years, experienced a loss, net loss, of 750,000 people. 750,000 more people moved out than moved in. That's almost a loss of 1 million in population. 62% of those people went to Texas, Florida, Nevada, Washington, all zero income tax states. So that's why
Doughty and Chapman University conducted a survey in cooperation with UC Irvine and UC San Diego. The team interviewed 150 CEOs throughout the state, asking them to rate the environment to do business in California, 5 being the best and 1 being the worst. 2/3 checked 1 and 2. When asked if they would consider moving their company out of California, 42% of the CEOs said yes. 18% said they would if they could. Doughty hopes the government can address the issue soon and lower taxes.
Truckers are increasingly frustrated at and now protesting California's gig worker law. A recent protest hits Los Angeles, protesting a decision by the Supreme Court.
A law known as Assembly Bill 5 is controversial among truckers. Truckers blocked several freeways near the ports in Los Angeles and Long Beach during recent protests. The drivers held up signs with slogans referring to AB 5, which Governor Gavin Newsom signed into law in 2019. AB 5 was immediately challenged in court after taking effect. On June 30th, the U.S. Supreme Court refused to hear an appeal by the California Trucking Association. That decision sparked the current protest. AB 5 is called the Gig Worker Law because it regulated part-time independent workers who don't belong to unions. It was especially aimed at Uber and Lyft, the gig driver companies. The law reclassified most independent contractors as full-time employees. About 40% of U.S. imports and 25% of exports run through the Los Angeles and Long Beach ports. Critics of AB 5 contend that banning the 70,000 independent trucking businesses could worsen supply chain issues. In a statement to City News Service, the Port of Los Angeles said, "At this point, there's no disruption of terminal activity. Los Angeles Port Police will assist in making sure all parties are able to express their First Amendment rights." Despite protests, Mario Cordero, executive director of the Port of Long Beach, said all terminals and roadways in the harbor remained open.
A Los Angeles-based museum is holding a series of free weekend events over the summer. It's for the museum's 25th anniversary. NTD's Jackie Reels went to see what fun people were having at this weekend's festival.
The Getty Center is celebrating its 25th birthday by holding events all over Los Angeles County, and you're invited to the party. This weekend's two-day event is happening here at Tony Arceo's Memorial Park in El Monte, with live music, food trucks, giveaways, and more. So let's go to the party. The Getty is a museum in West Los Angeles that offers art ranging from the Middle Ages to today. To celebrate its 25th anniversary, the museum put on a family-friendly event for all ages to enjoy.
We just came to visit and see what it was like. So, a nice small festival. Very nice.
The activities included traditional dances from both local and international cultures. One girl took part in the dances.
My daughter's actually performing today.
Really?
Yeah.
What is she doing?
She's doing ballet and tap dancing.
The museum has put on free festivals since May, and they will continue over several weekends until the end of August. The Getty is usually free to attend, but right now it requires a time entry reservation. Normally, doors are open to anyone. Jackie Rios, NTD News, Los Angeles.